Hello and welcome to Longevity with Life. This is a special webinar that I'm hosting. I'm so excited to be here to share with you some new light technology that has come into my life, but only about a month and a half. And I've got some experts to tell you about how the patch has helped them in their lives. So I want to introduce to you a special lady. She has been a realtor for 20 years and has been patching for just 1 year. And she's here to tell us about this new technology by Lifewave. Here is Beth Steil. So Beth, welcome to the webinar and thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Lesley. I appreciate it. It's always really exciting to share this technology because so few people know about it or have heard about it. And there's a lot of people out there that are hurting, in pain or suffering from certain things that sometimes we never even know. And this technology is literally the holy grail of holistic healing and the fountain of youth. It is genius technology. It's really kind of futuristic. Sometimes it's hard to get our heads wrapped around how it really works because it is so different and there's nothing like it. The inventor of this technology, David Schmidt, he is just brilliant. And he was originally hired by the military to invent a technology for the Navy SEALs because they sustain grueling schedules with zero sleep for days at a time. And they didn't want them on all the stimulants and the caffeine and the uppers and all the unhealthy stuff. So he was contracted to figure out some kind of technology that could keep them up and active and healthy in a positive way. So his first patch that he invented was Energy Enhancer for the Navy SEALs. So pretty amazing. And it worked. It worked phenomenally well. But then sadly, 9/11 happened and the military redirected the funds to Department of Defense. And he had a small children and a wife and said, oh my gosh, what do I do? So obviously a lot of adversity in 9/11 for a lot of people. It was for him, but he turned it into advantage by saying, well, now I can bring this technology to the public. So he's been working on this patch technology for years and years, and it simply is a patch that you wear. It is non-transdermal. It looks like this. It is non-transdermal, means non is not, nothing transfers, trans and dermal is skin. So nothing transfers through our skin, which is, again, like I said, it's just sometimes hard to get your head around it because most things we do, like there's a nicotine patch or an estrogen patch, or I've heard lately there's silicone patches. I don't know what that is. I really need to look into that. That sounds funny. But anyway, so this is non-transdermal. It is a little crystal lattice structure in the patch. He has figured out the specific wavelength to interact with your body's infrared heat and light. So a lot of people are familiar with the infrared light therapy. Facials use it, IPL for eye treatments, dry eye treatments, saunas, infrared saunas. But a lot of those things are expensive and a lot of them are super time consuming. So what's cool about this is these patches make it so easy. They're perfect for either busy people because you put it on the go, or lazy people because you just put it on and 12 hours later you take it off. So the main one that I'm going to talk about now real briefly, and then the second one, the main one is truly the flagship product. And he just invented this one about 5 years ago. So a lot of people don't know about it yet. And that is one of the things that makes it exciting to share, because it is the holy grail of healing and the fountain of youth. So this resonates with your body's heat, infrared heat from inside what we were born with. We are made of light. Human beings are made of light, electrical systems. So this resonates with a very specific wavelength that elevates copper. It's GHKCU copper. And studies go back to the 1950s that copper elevates your stem cells, reactivates them, mobilizes them. So the studies have been there forever, but what David did was figure out how to put it in a patch and mobilize it. So stem cells, for people who aren't that familiar with them, which I wasn't a year ago, I knew from having some wealthy, wonderful clients that stem cells were amazing because they could fly and get injections and do all these really crazy, neat things. but it just wasn't on, most people's level. So I didn't pay a lot of attention, but stem cells are our repair cells. They can repair everything. They're pluripotent. They can repair anything that's going on. They don't know the name of, our bodies don't know the name of a disease or a diagnosis. It just knows it's out of balance and that we have symptoms. So the stem cells go and repair our issues. And with aging, our stem cells just get weak. They get weak, they get old, they lose their effectiveness. So the patch reactivates them. And then the second patch is called an Eon, and we wear these together. We at least recommend wearing them together because they're known as the dynamic duo. And the reason for that is Eon reduces inflammation. And everybody has inflammation. It's just daily life for us anymore. People are so busy and so stressed. And, there's toxins in the air and pesticides in the food. And, there's just no avoiding inflammation, even when we try to be very healthy. And anybody with any kind of disease or diagnosis or sickness, pain, swelling, that's inflammation. And it is truly the cause, the root cause of all disorders. So by reducing the inflammation, we can feel an immediate stress relief, flow of, blood cells, better energy, more calm. But the biggest thing about it that enhances the X39, the stem cell patch, is inflammation damages our repair cells even more. So here, what little ones we have left as we age, the inflammation is just eating them as fast as they can grow, kind of like Pac-Man. So by wearing your Eon with your X39 stem cell patch, you're reducing your inflammation and increasing your stem cells at the same time. It's just genius technology. It's so futuristic.
So I want to ask you this, Beth. What results have you had over this last year of patching, and when did you actually start to see those results?
In hindsight, some of them I saw right away, but I didn't know it. Because if you have issues that come and go or they're predictable, you don't realize they're gone until they're really gone for a long time. And when I first, a friend told me about this technology and said, you got to get on YouTube and research this guy, David Schmidt. So I did. And I watched this hour-long video on YouTube of him and this technology. And I was like, I cannot believe this is even out there. I can't believe this even exists. And so the way I perceived it, I thought it was like preventative, that, we're already getting older, everything hurts, and so we could just stop, can we just stop aging so it can't get worse? Because I can't imagine what it'll be like in 10 years or 20 years. So I thought it would be more preventative. It is absolutely regenerative and restorative, age reversing. But for a short list, I started patching. I put my first patch on November 18th. And I had been having really horrendous bloody noses off and on that, I'd had some brain scans and different things and they couldn't figure out why, which is good and bad. But it starts to give you PTSD because it's hard to go out when you don't know what's going to happen. So I had one that morning of November 18th. When that FedEx hit my porch, I immediately put them on. That was my last bloody nose. But, I didn't know. And this is nothing I ever had a history with my whole life. So it was really weird. A real short list of things that I've gotten rid of in the last year. I dropped 20 pounds of hormonal weight fairly quickly. And I had been doing everything right. So it was really that stuck hormonal weight that I couldn't get off through dieting and eating right. And then I had bursitis pain. So if I laid on my right hip at night, I woke up. I don't wake up anymore. I can lay any way I like and I don't feel any pain. I had lower disc degeneration that a doctor had said I would need surgery. I wasn't doing that. I was working with a chiropractor. That pain is gone. I've seen a chiropractor twice instead of every week. I had some neuropathy in my fingers that was very painful when I gripped something, and that has gone away. There's a longer list than that. It's just, a lot of people will see nail growth, hair growth. There's a lot of vanity benefits too. But what's really rewarding about the vanity benefits, especially if somebody, like I had a client that I just recently visited with, and I only see him every year. And she said, I swear you've lost a decade. So that was like the best compliment. But what's really meaningful about that is whatever you're seeing on the outside, the cosmetic effects, that's evidence of what's going on in your inside, because this healing is from inside out. So it's just powerful. It's exciting.
Cool. Well, we have a mutual friend, Thomesa, that I'm going to bring on the screen here. And so Thomesa, she introduced me to the Lifewave patch. And like I said earlier, I've only been on it for about 6 weeks, and I'm starting to see some changes and stuff. I'm watching some age spots that are changing, and I'm feeling a little bit more energy and sleeping better. So, but I know I'm at the very beginnings of it. So that's why I was curious as to, because I know it takes time. They say to be on the patch for at least a month for each decade that you are. And so since I'm 61, I'm hoping to see results before I hit that 6-month period, which I think I will, based on what Thomesa's experience has been. So I'd like to let Thomesa share her experience with the patch. How long have you been patching, Thomesa?
I am now in my 7th month, and Beth is the person that introduced me to this technology. She knew I was into fitness, and I never got into fitness until I was about 67 years old. I'm 71, so about 4 years now I've been working on health and wellness and feeling better. And I've always been a recycled teenager mentally, but I thought if I could make that happen physically, I'm going to do it. So she had brought up the technology to me and said, you might want to try this with everything else you're doing. It's the holy grail of healing. And I thought, well, I'm not really ill. I don't have a lot of issues, but I can give it a try because I do have Hashimoto's hypothyroidism. I've been on thyroid meds since I was 38 years old. So I would love to get off of that medication. So I decided I was going to go have blood work done because that was going to be something I was going to be looking at the internal results that wouldn't show externally, I didn't think. And so I had blood work done 2 days before I got on the patches. And then once I was on the patches, well, what I discovered when I got that blood work done was that I was in stage 3 kidney failure, which who knew? And quite shocking. So it became a little bit more impactful that I stay on these patches and give it a shot. And in 6 months, get blood work done again and see what happened. Well, I am totally normal in my kidneys. So the kidney function, evidently this, the body heat and wavelengths that I activated stem cells through, those stem cells knew exactly where to go. They go to the most urgent places that need help, and evidently it was my kidneys. My thyroid did improve to the point of I am now reducing my thyroid med. Not totally going to be off of it yet, but I feel that's going to be coming. Now that was within a 6-month period of blood work, but within 2 months, I had people talking to me asking me about my skin. What was I doing? How come my hair was growing? And that was all exciting. And when you have a good looking guy ask you about your skin, I mean, hey, something's got to be going on, right? Especially at 71 years old. But so those were outside things, my hair, my nails, my skin. Energy, of course, I've always been high energy, but I was even more high energy. And the first week or so, I slept really well. So REM sleep, I think, is one of the cycles of sleep that I might not have been going through on a nightly basis. Although I sleep well and always thought I did, I sleep so much better. And REM sleep is more of an active sleep. It's rapid eye movement and you have a little bit more of heavy breathing, but that's the deeper sleep where your body can heal. And we need to go through that cycle, at least 20% of our nighttime sleeping. So I think I'm doing a lot of healing through the nighttime, and my sleep is great. So I could go on and on with a lot of issues that I hadn't even been aware of that have changed, but I'm gonna pass that on to another time and let someone else share, because this is fascinating. It is the question is to patch or not to patch, and my answer is patch.
Right. Well, I want to introduce or bring up to the stage Rachel Marriott. She's a massage therapist and friends with Thomesa. So, Rachel, tell us about your experience with the Lifewave patch. How long have you been patching?
I've been patching just since the end of September. So, 4 months maybe I'm in. And Thomesa told me about it. Thomesa is actually a client of mine. Slash kind of a mom figure, even though she doesn't really look like a mom figure. But she knew that I was dealing with some pretty extreme pain in my hands. And as a massage therapist, if any of you know, the work that we do is extremely difficult and it's hard on our bodies. And I was contemplating actually having to decrease the amount of clients I was seeing each day and each week. And I work for myself. And as we all know, when you work for yourself, we depend on ourselves. So I was really having a hard time with that. And she came in to the studio. I think it had been probably a couple months since I had seen her. And she's saying, I think I have a solution for you. And she starts talking about the patch and talking about the technology and how it's not only anti-aging, but it can help with pain and inflammation. And I'm looking at her as she's talking to me, and I'm staring at her. I'm looking at her skin. I'm like, there's no way in heck that a patch did this to you. And she's an all natural woman, and I appreciate that, as we all are. And I swear I thought she had done Botox or some sort of fillers. And she started laughing. And she says, no, I've been patching. I've been using the X39, which is the stem cell patch, and the Eon with that, which is inflammation. And I just started using glutathione. And I said, okay, I'm open-minded. I'm into this. Let's check it out. So I got signed up knowing that, we all have to try things. We're all into doing our own research. So I went home, did a lot of studying, typed up Lifewave, and read all the testimonies and looked up a bunch of clinical studies. And I said, okay, I'm in. So she also had sent me home with 2 different sets of Icewave, which are the pain patch. And she knows that my husband suffers from fibromyalgia, and he just got off just about a year of a really intense back surgery. And he was kind of dealing with some effects from that. And she said, you've got to try this on your husband. I said, okay. Well, he had kind of screwed up his shoulder, and I was like, all right, I'm just going to throw this on him. I'm not going to tell him what it is. And so I did. I said, you're going to try this, and I'm going to video it, and I want to know your reaction. And his reaction was priceless. If anybody knows my husband, they know he's Mr. Skeptic, and pretty sure it went like this. Whoa, what the F? How is this possible? And I knew when that happened that I was sold. I said, if this is helping with the pain that he's been having just in his shoulder, I'm sold. So I got the patches. I started using them myself. Within 3 days, I noticed a pretty intense boost of energy, and I noticed my stamina throughout the day was better. I wasn't as exhausted after working with clients. And 3.5 weeks, the pain in my hands was gone.
Wow.
Was blown away. I said, it's not possible. I didn't change anything. I was still doing, my yoga and working out and eating healthy and doing all the things. I just started using a patch, and
wow.
I have not had to decrease my clients. I am still working, not like I want to, but I still have the same amount of clients, and I'm no longer in pain. And it's tough
awesome.
work that I do. And so it's been an amazing thing for me. And I just knew I had to tell all my clients about it. I told family and friends and anybody I can kind of, anyone that will lend an ear to me. Mm-hmm. All I say is, if you're open-minded and, you got nothing to lose, just try it. Just be patient. Just be patient
right.
with it.
Now, Mary Beth Green saying, hi, Ray. And we have another comment. This one's for Thomesa. Ernie, I'm not sure how to say that name, but she says, hi, Thomesa. The patch sounds like a great solution to my pain and inflammation. So, Rachel, you were talking about your husband. Is your husband nearby that he would like to share with us what his experience was?
Are you ready?
Sure.
Here we go.
I am the guy with the expletives. So
hi, Mark.
How you guys doing?
Great.
What a cool little thing here. This little Icewave patch. So I came home one evening with some pain, and my wife approached me, as she said, and, hey, I'm going to put these little patches on you. Or actually, I don't think she even said the patches. I'm just going to do something to you. I'm like, okay, whatever. And pain. That's all I was driven by at that moment was pain. So point here where the pain is, put a patch on. Point here where the pain was, put a patch on. And then move your arm around, and I could do it. Whereas before I was kind of like a limp duck. So just in shock. I thought it was some kind of she was doing some kind of voodoo to me, but it was these patches. I had a warm sensation come over my muscle area, and I was able to completely have mobility in my arm instantly. So I didn't have any idea what the product was, where it was coming from, what was happening to me, anything about phototherapy. And that was the gateway for me to get into X39. So as she was saying before, I did have lower back surgery, and it was really, really rough getting through that. And just the area where the surgery, where the cut was, and the healing portion of it, most of my scars almost completely gone. And I use the X39 right above where the screws go into my spine. And that has really helped the fusion process go along. And Lightwave.
Lifewave. Awesome. Well, thank you. I'm going to bring our Thomesa up and Beth up again. So yeah, wow, what great testimonials. Like I said, I'm early on in the process, and I'm glad that you said that, Rachel, to be patient, because I'm waiting. Not that I had a whole lot of aches and pains to begin with, but I'm seeing some of the aging things that I'm looking for to change. So we had a couple comments from our audience, but if anyone else has questions, please put them in the comments so we can ask them. In the meantime, there are a few questions that some people have. And so I think you touched on this a little bit, Beth. It was about what's in the patch. So can you tell us more about what's in the patch that makes it work?
Sure, yes. What's amazing is nothing is actually in the patch other than some proprietary elements, amino acids and sugars and waters, and not the sugar that's in your baking cabinet, but molecular sugars, secrets, proprietary stuff, but just to create that structure, that lattice structure that resonates the specific wavelength for whichever peptide, antioxidant molecule, organ it's increasing. So as far as anything like chemical or being inserted into your body, like you think of with the other patches I mentioned, nicotine or estrogen or whatever, nothing is going in. So there's nothing on the patch to transfer through your skin at all. It's just that little blend of proprietary amino acids to affect the wavelength to respond to your body's light.
So our body's light, the infrared light from our bodies, activate the things that are in the patch, and then that sends a light frequency to our bodies to help create those peptides and things that we need to activate our stem cells. Is that about right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a specific wavelength. Okay. Our body reacts to the patch and sends back into our body to elevate exactly whatever that thing is. Kind of similar to the sun. A lot of people are familiar if they go out in the sun, it reacts with the body to create vitamin D. So that's light in the body, which creates vitamin D. And that's what he has figured out how to do with this patch, with the wavelength, using your body's light. So your body is the sun in this case, creating that vitamin D or the copper that elevates the stem cells, the peptide that elevates. It's kind of proprietary what's in the Eon, but it elevates a peptide that reduces the inflammation. The Eon's only one, I don't know exactly what, because it's really secretive, but it is the same peptide that's in royal jelly, which if you look into what royal jelly is, it's pretty amazing, but that's a whole nother webinar.
Rachel, were you going to add something?
I do know. I actually did look this up. Come back to me because I have to look it up, but I did find out exactly what was in the Eon, and I'm going to have to search for it. So come back to me and I'll let you know when I find it.
Okay. Here's another question we have. If I'm taking other medications, how will the patches interact with the meds? Who would like to answer that question?
We'll answer that.
Thomesa,
I don't take a lot. Like I said, I just have that thyroid med that I've been on. It's a synthetic med from the doc, but there is no contraindications when you are on any kind of medication. There's nothing going to cause anything to happen, good, bad, indifferent. There's just nothing as a result of meds mixing with anything from the patch, because it's basically just light, and our energy, body heat, light. and it activates what's inside. It does not have any contraindications with meds.
But of course, we want to make sure that people talk to their doctors and make sure it's okay before they take it. Is that recommended?
Absolutely. We are not doctors and we are not their doctors, but that is always recommended that people speak to their health practitioner or their doctor or whomever they may go to, and, just let them know what they're doing so that everybody's on the same page, and medically you want to stay as healthy as you can. So, yeah, but no matter what you're taking and putting on, it's hydrate, because our bodies and our cells need water, and the fluid is important. So the activation of the patches is working to its best ability.
Awesome. Now, Rachel, were you able to find that?
Yeah.
What you were looking for?
Oxide dismutase.
Ah.
Many of us have heard of that, but I do know that it helps repair damaged cells. I know that that's kind of inflammation. So
what it does.
So, but that's the
okay.
peptide. Yeah.
Great. The other question we have here is, can you use it on pets or animals? Who would like to answer that question?
I'll answer it. Sure. Either way, we both can.
Rachel? Okay.
Rachel.
Yes.
Yeah, so there is one actually specific for animals. It was tested on horses. It's called AccuLife, and veterinarians do use it. I'm sure Beth has probably a little bit more information on this, but I do know that you can use it on animals. What I know Beth and I do, and I know other people we've kind of talked to, when you're done using your patch, you can actually put it on your dog. And I'm only going to tell the story quickly, but we have a almost 17-year-old dog who has extreme hip issues, and she was to the point of not even being able to walk. And we stick our patches on her every single day or night. It doesn't matter what patch it is. We just stick it on her tail. Well, not her tail, but on her bum, because that's where her pain is. And she's still trucking. She still gets off the bed. She still makes it to the dog door. She still makes it outside to go to the bathroom. And she'll be 17 February 11th. So, the point where she was at before, maybe she's just a super crazy fighter, but I think that they might be helping her as well. So I have faith.
That's great. Beth, what did you have to add?
Same thing. We put our patches on our dog after we wear them, because when you wear the patch, it's 12 hours on, 12 hours off, because the 12 hours you're mobilizing and elevating and activating, you're churning cells and tissues, your body's working really hard. So hence the hydration, but then 12 hours off. So you want equal time rest for the healing as you have activation, but there's maybe a couple hours left in the patch. So I too put them on our white lab. She used to be a white lab, and she's now turning yellowish orange because the collagen is increasing so much. Collagen. The hairstylist, my girlfriend who does hair, she said, "Oh my gosh, that's collagen because it'll make your hair darker." My husband's hair is kind of a silvery gray. I won't say gray; he's a silver fox. So his hair is really dark from the collagen, and it's just really exciting. And then I also have chickens, and I patch my chickens, because if anybody on podcast is familiar with chickens, they get egg bound and they get bumblefoot, and it's really scary because it can be fatal, and everything is really hit or miss. And so we patch our chickens. Is a reminder. And
wow.
Anything.
So here's a question from our audience. And Thomesa, how do you say that name?
Ernie Penniman,
Ernie?
like cinnamon.
Okay.
Penniman.
So is it a he?
She.
Ernie? She's
okay. My hat lady. If anybody's ever seen my hats that I wear, she makes my hats for me.
Okay. So she wants to know, how do you wear the ice patch, I guess, after? How long do you wear the patch after to see and feel relief? So yes, how long does it take before you see some results?
If she's talking about the Icewave patch, that is an immediate relief. The X39 is something that is your body's going to start activating, and every person's body is different. So the time frame of feeling and improving is different. But if it's the Icewave patch for pain, it literally is, works off polarity. So you put a patch on the pain and then another one to the right of that. It opens up that channel that is causing the pain. It can be instant.
So instant with the ice patch or ice wave patch. But what about with the Eon and the X39? How long does it take to see relief? I guess it really depends on each person. Everyone's different, right?
Yes. Every person's different. It's going to react differently. I started sleeping great right away. That was the first thing I noticed. That's what I've seen most people notice. But within 2 months, I was having comments. I was getting comments from people about other things about me that they noticed that I wasn't paying attention to. I was just waiting on the internal results from blood work. And so, but every person's body is different.
Okay, so it could be immediate with the X39, or it could be take a couple of months. But again, it's recommended give it at least 1 month for each decade that you are old.
I have a 71-year-old friend that was on them probably about 3 weeks, and she went to work one day without putting her patch on, and she literally went home to put it back on because she had felt the difference. What difference that was, I couldn't tell you, but she went home and put it on.
Awesome. Well, ladies, we've come to our time. We want to keep this to 30 minutes. So next month, we're going to do this webinar again, and we're hoping to find, we have a couple of calls into some doctors that are going to talk about different issues and give their expertise on the patch and how it works. So next month's event, the webinar, Longevity with Light webinar, will be available. You'll be able to register for it by going to www.tinyurl.com/longevity Feb 2025 with the L and the F capitalized. So, so we'll be doing this again the second Thursday of every month. And I want to thank you, ladies, so much for being here and sharing your expertise and experience with the Lifewave patch. It's a very exciting technology. We're into the age of Aquarius, and it's all about new innovations. And this is one of them. And it's just great to be able to kind of, the way I see it, it's kind of like reverse age. Let's see, we have one more comment. And let's see, it's Ernie again. She will definitely run this by my doctor tomorrow. So Thomesa, she's going to want to talk with you a little bit and find out more about it. All right.
For sure. I'll get in touch with you, Ernie. So thank you. We've got some amazing stuff coming up for February. So I hope everybody decides to tune in and listen to what's coming then. It's going to be amazing.
Yes. Any final words before we close?
Thank you, Lesley. Thanks for
you're welcome.
Together and giving us this opportunity to share. It really is a blessing. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And, reach out to us if you have any other questions, and we will see you next month. Take care, everyone.
Happy New Year. Make it your best.
Happy New Year.